Good morning, everybody. I didn't imagine that when I made my video yesterday morning about the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which granted the vote across the country to women, and rightfully so. And we're thankful for that. That President Trump would be pardoning Susan B. Anthony, which is a wonderful thing. And it's funny because I did hear an announcement on the radio that President Trump was planning to pardon somebody, and it would be somebody big, and not someone connected to his campaign, etc. And I really salute the president for doing that. However, like I said in my second video yesterday, the media, they're the enemy of the people. They could not hold back from either A, complaining that the president did this because this was a badge of honor, that Susan B. Anthony was wrongfully arrested, and she never paid her fine, and he's taking that honor away from her. He's taking away her free will to show her defiance. Well, no, he's not doing that. He's recognizing that the state of New York was wrong for disenfranchising her and disenfranchising women, and he's recognizing that and offering the best reparation that he could give, even if it's symbolic. But then other people on the left had to cancel Susan B. Anthony. You know, who was on the silver dollar, right? I guess it was a silver dollar, a half dollar, or was it a quarter? No, it wasn't a quarter. It was a bicentennial quarters, but I think it was the Susan B. Anthony dollars back in the 70s, which are collectible. And I always, thought it was cool when I would see one of those when I was a kid. 15, 20 years after they came out. And that's how I knew who Susan B. Anthony was, from the Susan B. Anthony coin. That's how I learned about her. And then I went and visited in Seneca Falls, the Women's Museum and so forth, and it was very enlightening and interesting, and it's part of our history. And yet, of course, the left has to remove everything from our past, has to denigrate everything that came before. They don't recognize that they're on the shoulders of giants peeking over the hills, and they don't even remember the lesson that President Obama said, that you did not build that. Of course, Obama was talking about, in a contemporary sense, the collective efforts that bring things about. Although the way he said it was wrong, because the truth is we all built it. If he would have said you did not build that alone, that would have been worthwhile, and that would have been true. But the thing is that the boss and the supervisor and the CEO and the owner are just as important, if not more important, than the workers who do the actual work. It was really a communist idea that he was pushing when he said you didn't build that. Because the truth is that who's the one who's putting up who's taking the risk in a capitalist system that makes it possible for all these other people to work, etc. They're not benefiting off the labor of the proletariat. They are making it possible. Because we see in those other countries where they don't have this model, the workers don't have work to do and nothing gets done. But that's neither here nor there. That's not the point that I'm trying to... I mean, nothing gets done. Of course, I'm being a little bit of hyperbole, but we don't see the accomplishments that we see here in America, thanks to freedom and risk and so forth, which is part of why capitalism is the best way of getting people out of poverty, and it's also what gives more people the opportunity to become wealthy on their own and to become the next CEO, the next owner, the next so forth. And so there's mobility. But again, that's not the point that I'm saying here. But what I am saying here is that the left does not appreciate the past. They denigrate the past in every possible way. This was a subject, though, that I was discussing with a very distinguished rabbi who I respect very highly. But I'm not going to talk about that at this time. I did want to make a video about the conversation I had with him, but I think because these are two separate subjects, we'll leave that for the next video. So if you watch this video, I encourage you to watch the next one, which will talk about that subject in a very nuanced way, and a very out-of-the-box way. But this is the problem that we have today with the left, that, they want to just tear everything down. They often will say that the conservatives just want to keep everything that's old. That's not true. Conservatism is not about just maintaining a status quo. It's about seeing what worked and didn't work in the past and building up that which worked, while discarding those things that didn't work, but still not forgetting them, keeping them in our memory, in our collective conscience, so we don't make those same mistakes again. The famous quote, it was Santa Anna, of those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I think that's what we see here. That the left will cancel the greatest feminist hero, Susan B. Anthony, because she wasn't their type of feminist. And there's, discussion of the various waves of feminism. And because, and so, to throw away that first wave feminism, which was very valuable and important in the history of this country, and the absolute shame that it was almost 50 years later, after when she was arrested, over 40 years later, until the right to vote was universally granted in this country. It just it's a horrible shame on this country's history and heritage. It should be noted that some states did allow women to vote much earlier. And here the president is at least symbolically correcting that, and yet he is denigrated, and the legacy of Susan B. Anthony is denigrated. This is the evil of the left. This is what we're dealing with. And these people cannot succeed. And so if they accomplish what they seek out to get power, they will absolutely destroy this country and the world. Because the world, in a certain sense, depends on America. We are that shining city on the hill. And so, as much as we oppose the globalist agenda in general of what we talk about, and this is part of that, we recognize our global impact. We do recognize that we are part of a world. We're not an island unto ourselves. But we respect other countries' rights to be themselves and so forth. with clear delineated borders, good fences make good neighbors. And this is the world we're living in. So, but when we destroy everything, these leftists are not only a threat to this country, they're a threat to the entire world, because they're going to put us into a new dark ages. Literally. It's not, it'll be worse than the old one. So let's remember that. Let's hold on to this truth. And let's remember this message so that we don't lose this country or the world. Let's build up and not tear down. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment, and we'll see you later.